Okay, good morning from foggy Pennsylvania. This will be the Italian turn and the U.S. turn for the spring of 1912. The Italians are controlled by the French, so I will be moving them as the French. One of the difficult things setting up this game, there's so many different countries like Italy, because Italy could go Central Powers or Entente. They could potentially end up in conflict with Britain, and of course they're fighting the Ottomans in this very first turn. So this is what we went with. And anyways, the Italians are going to attack Cyrenaica. They cannot do diplomacy. They cannot do technology. So very simple. Bring in their fleet out of M3 and their TBD out of M5. They're bringing 2 infantry from northern Italy, and everything from Tripolitania is going to be in the attack. And that will be the total of the Italian moves. So set the camera up over here so you can see. Starting with the pre-dreadnought at a 3, and that is a miss. The cruiser at a 2, and that is a miss. And the artillery at a 4, and that is a miss, of course. All right, he has no first strikes, so I'm left with 2 infantry, one of which is supported. So supported will be red, supported at a 3. This is in the desert, so no penalties on my part. So at a 3, and the black will be at a 2. No hits, and the 2 infantry off the transport. Neither of them hits. He has a colonial at a 2, and the camels also at a 2. So roll them both. And that's 2 8s, so no hits. All right, no joy on his part. I'll continue with my attack. Artillery is going to be red, supported infantry yellow, and then 3 infantry, the darker dice. So the artillery gets a hit. There'll be no other hits on my part. His 2 in retaliation, and that's a 12 and a 3, so no hits. I'm going to take the militia off. I didn't ask Brian, but pretty obvious. They both defend the same. Camels are more expensive and they attack better. So anyways, so in my final round that I can attack for Cyrenaica, and looks like I got 3 hits. So that's a nice result. Take off the all the units from Brian, move everything into Cyrenaica. So that takes off the Ottoman roundel. That's an important win for us. So at this point, there are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 territories for Italy. So we roll recruitment for Italy, and a 10. So 10, that's kind of a nice result. It's a very easy one for me. So I'm going to place an infantry on Tripolitania and just replacing the chip on northern Italy. So disposition of the Italian forces. Remaining in northern Italy are 2 infantry, artillery, and a cavalry. The 2 submarines out of M5 are going to move to M6. The rest of the Italian fleet is sitting in M4. Cyrenaica has been taken from the Ottomans. Tripolitania has the new infantry that I recruited for. No other moves for the Italians. All right, for the U.S. The U.S. cannot do diplomacy, cannot do technology in the prequel. U.S. has 3 to spend. They're going to purchase 1 and lend-lease 1 infantry to the revolutionaries in Mexico. Mexico is kind of interesting. I think I talked about this in a previous video. More than 20 years of revolution and combat occurring back and forth between the Federalists and the revolutionaries. Lots of there was intervention on the part of the U.S., at least 2 direct and multiple indirect, backed one side or the other. It was very complicated, so we had to simplify it for this game. Anyways, enough of that. What you see is there was a lend-lease of an infantry by my good friends, the Brits. So I'm taking 4 infantry down into eastern Mexico. And then from Coahuila, going west in Chihuahua with 2 infantry and a cavalry. Hopefully I've been well enabled. And then of course, I'm gonna lend-lease right behind them 1 infantry from the US. So I'd like to shut this down pretty quickly. It's very advantageous for the US if they do so. So I have 4 infantry from eastern Mexico attacking 1 infantry in into eastern Mexico. So my infantry will be red, his will be blue. We'll just roll it all together. All right, he gets a hit and I miss, so I'll take off chip. Maybe that was a mistake splitting up, but we'll give that another round. All right, or 2. And he gets another hit, so you know, the writing's on the wall. I don't really... Could go one more round. One more round. Then clear terrain. And he gets another hit, but so do I. So it is fallen to the revolutionaries. I'll show you the map here in a minute. All right, so going into Chihuahua, I have 2 infantry and a cavalry. He has an infantry and a cavalry defending. Cavalry defends poorly. And it is into the mountains, so I have a terrain penalty. I have 2 infantry. They'll be red die, and cavalry will be yellow. Terrain penalty, I attack at a 1, cavalry at a 2. And no hits. He defends at a 2 and a 4, red being infantry. And he misses, so I'm gonna go another round. I'm gonna attack, same units, same penalties, and that is a miss. He defends, and it's another miss for him. So may as well go the 3rd round, go the distance. Misses on my part, and for his, wow, misses all the round. I don't like those dice at all. So my units will retreat back into Coahuila. And there is, so you can see the map. I have 1 infantry in eastern Mexico, 2 infantry and a cavalry. These were sent to me by Brian, so they're kind of nice. Are in Coahuila. Lend-lease of 1 infantry from the Americans to Coahuila. And then also rolling for a 2 on recruitment. And that's a 9, so no point in zooming in on that. All right, so that was terrible. All right, the Mexican Revolution and Italian-Turkish War will continue in the next round. So that's just kind of a preview of things that are ongoing. Let's talk random events. So summer of 1912. Die for the West will be black, and in the East will be green. And by the way, skipping the turn for the Chinese, they are not going to go during the prequel, although I did remove the 1 infantry from the Typhoon from the random event. All right, so a 6 and a 5. So in the West, that means so this is a Chinese Navy random event. I'm going to go ahead and go over to my computer so you can see that. So the Chinese Navy, Britain, Germany, US, Austria, and France each rolls a D6 and distributes accordingly. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for France. So France will roll a D6, and I'll just use the same 2 that I just had. France will be the darker, and the US will be the lighter. France rolls a 2, so they're going to add a TBD to their Navy, and the US rolls a 6, so the Greeks are going to get a TBD. So the French TBD will go in southern France, and I'll place that in a little bit. And the Greek will go next to Greece. All right, in the East, we rolled a 5, and that is sneak attack. So everybody can see that. Place an attacking Greek colonial infantry on Lemnos. So Britain controls Greece. If you would do that, place your attacking Greek colonial infantry on Lemnos. So that is it for the random events for the next turn. I know the Russians still have their turn, their spring turn, but texting with Tim, he's going to do that, and it had no impact on my turn, so I went ahead and went. Hopefully you are able to update your maps accordingly. Thanks.